Drive, The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us by Daniel H. Pink. Chapter 1, The Rise and Fall of Motivation 2.0. In this chapter, Pink begins by discussing the concept of motivation, which he describes as the driving force behind human behavior. He then introduces the two main types of motivation, extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic motivation comes from external rewards, such as money or status, while intrinsic motivation comes from within, such as personal fulfillment or a sense of purpose. Pink then examines the history of motivation, describing the carrot and stick approach of motivation 2.0, which relied on rewards and punishments to motivate people. He argues that this approach is no longer effective in the modern world, where many jobs require creative thinking and problem solving. The key insight from this chapter is that extrinsic motivation is not always effective and can even be counterproductive in certain situations. For entrepreneurs, this means that relying solely on external rewards, such as bonuses or promotions, may not be enough to motivate employees. Instead, entrepreneurs should focus on creating a work environment that fosters intrinsic motivation, such as providing opportunities for personal and professional growth. Actionable steps that entrepreneurs can take to implement this insight include encouraging employees to pursue their own passions and interests within the context of their work, providing opportunities for skill building and career development, creating a sense of purpose and meaning within the workplace. Chapter 2, The Trouble with Rewards. In this chapter, Pink explores the effects of rewards on motivation. He argues that while rewards can be effective in certain situations, they can also have negative effects, such as reducing creativity and stifling intrinsic motivation. Pink describes a study conducted by psychologist Edward Desai, in which two groups of college students were asked to solve a series of puzzles. One group was promised a cash reward for each puzzle solved, while the other group was not offered any reward. The group that was promised a reward solved fewer puzzles and took longer to solve them than the group that was not offered a reward. Pink also describes the concept of the overjustification effect, which occurs when an external reward is offered for a behavior that was previously intrinsically motivated. In these cases, the external reward can actually decrease the person's intrinsic motivation for the behavior. The key insight from this chapter is that rewards can have unintended negative consequences on motivation, and that intrinsic motivation is more effective for complex and creative tasks. For entrepreneurs, this means that offering extrinsic rewards may not be the best way to motivate employees, especially for tasks that require creativity and problem solving. Actionable steps that entrepreneurs can take to implement this insight include being mindful of the potential negative effects of rewards on motivation, offering non-financial incentives such as flexible work hours or opportunities for skill building, encouraging intrinsic motivation by fostering a sense of purpose and meaning within the workplace. Chapter 3, The Self-Determination Theory. In this chapter, Pink introduces the self-determination theory, which describes the three innate psychological needs that humans have: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy refers to the need to be self-directed. Competence refers to the need to feel capable and effective, and relatedness refers to the need to feel connected to others. Pink argues that these needs are essential for intrinsic motivation and that when they are satisfied, people are more likely to be engaged and productive in their work. He also describes how the self-determination theory can be applied in the workplace to create a more motivating environment. The key insight from this chapter is that satisfying the innate psychological needs of autonomy, competence, and relatedness is key to fostering intrinsic motivation in the workplace. Entrepreneurs should focus on creating a work environment that allows employees to feel a sense of autonomy, develop their skills and competence, and build strong relationships with others. Actionable steps that entrepreneurs can take to implement this insight include empowering employees to make decisions and take ownership of their work, providing opportunities for skill building and professional development, encouraging collaboration and team-building activities to foster strong relationships within the workplace. To illustrate the significance of these points, let's consider the example of a tech startup. The company may be focused on developing innovative software or hardware, which requires creative problem-solving and complex tasks. If the company relies solely on extrinsic rewards, such as bonuses or promotions, to motivate employees, they may find that their workforce becomes less productive and less engaged over time. Instead, the company should focus on creating a work environment that fosters intrinsic motivation. This may involve giving employees a greater degree of autonomy in their work, providing opportunities for skill building and professional development, encouraging collaboration and team-building activities to build strong relationships within the workplace. Chapter 4: Autonomy. In this chapter, Pink emphasizes the importance of autonomy in fostering intrinsic motivation. He describes autonomy as the ability to direct our own lives and make choices that are consistent with our interests and values. Pink discusses research that shows that giving people more autonomy in their work can lead to increased motivation, better performance, and greater job satisfaction. He also emphasizes that autonomy is not the same as chaos or anarchy, but rather the freedom to make choices within a defined framework. The key insight from this chapter is that providing employees with more autonomy can lead to increased motivation and better performance. For entrepreneurs, this means that they should strive to create a work environment that empowers employees to make decisions and take ownership of their work. Actionable steps that entrepreneurs can take to implement this insight include providing clear expectations and guidelines for employees, while also allowing them to make choices within those parameters. Encouraging employees to take ownership of their work and make decisions about how to approach tasks and projects. Allowing employees to work in a way that best suits their individual working style and preferences. Chapter 5: Mastery. In this chapter, Pink discusses the importance of mastery in fostering intrinsic motivation. He defines mastery as the desire to get better at something that matters. Pink argues that mastery is essential for intrinsic motivation because it provides a sense of progress and achievement. He also discusses research that shows that people who focus on mastery are more likely to be engaged and productive in their work. The key insight from this chapter is that providing opportunities for mastery can lead to increased motivation and better performance. For entrepreneurs, this means that they should strive to create a work environment that allows employees to develop their skills and expertise. Actionable steps that entrepreneurs can take to implement this insight include providing opportunities for skill building and professional development, such as training sessions or conferences. Encouraging employees to pursue projects or tasks that allow them to develop new skills and expertise. Providing feedback and recognition for progress and achievements. Chapter 6: Purpose. In this chapter, Pink discusses the importance of purpose in fostering intrinsic motivation. He defines purpose as the sense that our work is meaningful and contributes to something larger than ourselves. Pink argues that purpose is essential for intrinsic motivation because it provides a sense of connection to something beyond oneself. He also discusses research that shows that people who feel a sense of purpose in their work are more likely to be engaged and productive. The key insight from this chapter is that providing a sense of purpose can lead to increased motivation and better performance. For entrepreneurs, this means that they should strive to create a work environment that provides a sense of meaning and purpose for employees. Actionable steps that entrepreneurs can take to implement this insight include communicating the company's mission and vision in a way that inspires employees, encouraging employees to see the impact of their work on customers, society, or the world at large, encouraging employees to pursue their own passions and interests within the context of their work. Chapter 7: The Limits of Carrots and Sticks. In this chapter, Pink discusses the limitations of using external rewards and punishments to motivate people. He argues that while these methods can be effective for simple and routine tasks, they are less effective for complex and creative tasks that require problem solving and innovation. Pink also discusses research that shows that external rewards can actually decrease intrinsic motivation by reducing the perceived value of the task being performed. He argues that this can lead to a crowding out effect, where the desire to perform the task for its own sake is replaced by the desire to receive the reward. The key insight from this chapter is that external rewards and punishments are less effective for complex and creative tasks, and may actually decrease intrinsic motivation. For entrepreneurs, this means that they should be mindful of the limitations of these methods and focus on creating a work environment that fosters intrinsic motivation. Actionable steps that entrepreneurs can take to implement this insight include avoiding the use of external rewards and punishments for complex and creative tasks, focusing on intrinsic motivators such as autonomy, mastery, and purpose, creating a work environment that allows employees to develop their skills and pursue their interests. Chapter 8: Type I and Type X. In this chapter, Pink introduces the concept of Type I and Type X behavior. Type I behavior is characterized by intrinsic motivation, while Type X behavior is characterized by extrinsic motivation. Pink argues that Type I behavior is more effective for complex and creative tasks, while Type X behavior is more effective for simple and routine tasks. Pink also discusses research that shows that Type I behavior is more common among people who feel a sense of autonomy, mastery, and purpose in their work. He argues that Type I behavior can be fostered by creating a work environment that supports these three psychological needs. The key insight from this chapter is that Type I behavior, characterized by intrinsic motivation, is more effective for complex and creative tasks. For entrepreneurs, this means that they should strive to create a work environment that fosters Type I behavior by providing opportunities for autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Actionable steps that entrepreneurs can take to implement this insight include identifying tasks that require complex and creative thinking and encouraging Type I behavior for those tasks, providing opportunities for skill building and professional development to foster mastery, creating a sense of purpose around the company's mission and values. Chapter 9. Intrinsic Motivation in Organizations. In this chapter, Pink discusses the challenges of creating a work environment that fosters intrinsic motivation. He argues that many organizations are designed to promote extrinsic motivation, and that creating a culture of intrinsic motivation requires a significant shift in thinking and practice. Pink also discusses the importance of leadership in fostering intrinsic motivation. He argues that leaders who provide autonomy, support mastery, and create a sense of purpose can create a work environment that is more engaging, productive, and fulfilling for employees. The key insight from this chapter is that creating a culture of intrinsic motivation requires a significant shift in thinking and practice, and that leadership plays a key role in fostering intrinsic motivation. For entrepreneurs, this means that they should be prepared to make changes in the way their company operates in order to foster intrinsic motivation. Actionable steps that entrepreneurs can take to implement this insight include evaluating the company's current culture and identifying areas where extrinsic motivation is being promoted over intrinsic motivation, providing training and development for managers and leaders to help them foster intrinsic motivation, encouraging employees to give feedback on how the company can better support their psychological needs for autonomy, mastery, and purpose. To illustrate the significance of these points, let's consider the example of a food delivery company. The company may be focused on providing fast and efficient delivery services to customers, while extrinsic rewards, such as bonuses or promotions, may be effective for motivating delivery drivers to meet certain performance metrics, such as delivery times or order accuracy. They may not be effective for fostering intrinsic motivation in areas such as customer service or problem solving. Instead, the company should focus on creating a work environment that fosters intrinsic motivation. This may involve giving delivery drivers more autonomy in their work, providing opportunities for skill building and professional development, and creating a sense of purpose around the company's mission of providing high-quality and reliable food delivery services. Overall, Drive, the surprising truth about what motivates us, provides valuable insights into the psychology of motivation and how it can be applied in the workplace. By understanding the limitations of extrinsic motivation and the importance of intrinsic motivation, entrepreneurs can create a work environment that fosters engagement, productivity, and success. By providing autonomy, mastery, and purpose, entrepreneurs can create a culture of intrinsic motivation that supports the psychological needs of their employees and leads to better performance and job satisfaction.